All right, Mom. It is coming up on our birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to us.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't feel 33, you know?
It's weird when you just said that. I was like, holy guacamole, Batman.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's just because of like sobriety or maybe it's because of like, yeah, everything. I just don't feel like a 33-year-old, or maybe I don't feel how I think a 33-year-old should feel.
You see, and that's just the thing. And just so everybody knows, Robert and my birthday we're 3 days apart.
Yeah.
Our birthdays.
Yeah. So mine's on Wednesday, yours is on Friday.
Really? I thought mine was on Saturday.
Nope.
Oh. What? Here's the thing, though, Robert.
Is it?
I thought mine was on Saturday because I was going to do a Saturday.
Oh yeah, yours is on Saturday.
Okay.
Mine's still on Wednesday though.
Okay.
I just don't know how to add.
See, but here's the thing: it's like even that sentence that you just said, like I don't think I feel like a 33-year-old should. I mean, I think that there's way too much emphasis put on age. I mean, what does a 33-year-old supposed to feel like?
Well, it's weird because like I was playing video games the other day, and some guy was like, "You could tell he was younger." And he was like, "Well, how old are you?" I was like, "Well, I think I said like." I lie a lot about my age just because I think it's fun. So I think I said like 30. I think I said 39 or 42.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh wow, you're old. I would hate to be that old." And I was like, "Why would you hate to be that old? That's pretty awesome." And so like it's weird that even a 16-year-old is afraid of growing old.
Oh yeah. Yeah. In fact, I was at the bank the other day, and the bank teller told me that her grandson or granddaughter, I don't remember, but was mentioning her neck and about how old she looked with her neck.
Yeah.
And the granddaughter was like fascinated about her grandma's neck wasn't perfect.
Sure.
So I think that this message of youth and age and perfectionism is taught at such an early age.
I would say so. Well, I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, if you're talking about like dollars and cents, it makes sense if you're a clothing line or a beauty supplier to like fixate on looking young because it keeps people in that loop of consumerism.
Yeah, I know, but it's such a weird paradox because it's like they're always like you need to stay young, but I think more the makeup and the skincare line, they just feed on that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
100%. Now the fashion lines, they have a tendency to forget that older people buy clothes too.
Yeah, I would say so. I think we were talking about. It's funny because we were talking about mental health the other day on stream, and how when like Papa when he was younger and the older generations, they didn't really know about mental health and they didn't really know about, we referenced like shell shock. They would call PTSD and the horrors of war. They would just be like, oh, it's just shell shock, and like slowly now with modern medicine and advancements of technology, we're starting to understand how significant mental health plays on everybody on a day-to-day. And I think it's very similar to that. Like I think we're getting there in terms of like growing old and growing older and like with grace kind of thing. It's pretty interesting to see.
What, and the thing is, it's like it's so weird, but I mean, it's like you look at Hollywood and when men actors get older, they get distinguished. When women actresses get older, they just get labeled as old.
I would think it's a marketing standpoint, because I think again it comes from like, oh well, you can like it's marketing to the men or the male audience that like, oh, you can still be attractive kind of thing. Whereas I think they highlight for females, I think, well, they're like, oh well, the young is desired, so you need to be young. And I think again it all comes down to marketing. It's it's a consumerism kind of thing.
And going back to fashion lines really quick, I had somebody mention how like they were really upset that brands didn't show more mature models in their marketing, and how that really upset them. And I came up with this answer of like, why would they? You look on Google and these fashion videos of like fashion over 50, there's millions of views of women telling women that you have to wear certain demure clothing very neutral colors, you know, don't show your arms, don't show skin, you know, don't stand. One of them actually told the women not to, you don't have to be the sexiest woman in the room. And I'm like, why would you say that to another woman?
Yeah.
So that's what's out there. That's the popular belief. So why would these fashion lines, you know, why would they cater to a belief that isn't the norm?
Yeah.
You know, so it's up to us to what narrative we're going to listen to.
See, it's funny you say that too, because I was talking to somebody. It was literally yesterday. We were in chat, and there's a viewer. She's my age. She's really cool. She lives in New York, but she admits that she doesn't like. She only wears black. She wears very, very I would say monotone colors, because I think black is a very monotone color. I think it helps pop, and I think it helps accentuate, I think, other items. But she says she doesn't wear any color. And I go, well, why wouldn't you? She was like, well, black just looks better. I go, well, I think black is a supporting actor and in your wardrobe, whereas like your black really makes your greens pop, or your blues and things like that. And she was like, no. And so like, it's weird to think that, I don't know. She said she used to wear a lot of color and she hasn't lately. I was like, why don't you? That's crazy.
Well, I think sometimes we get into like a comfort zone with our fashion. And to me, it's like, I know it used to drive Papa crazy because all I wore was black.
Yeah.
And he would be like, no, wear more color, wear this. And I find myself leaning very heavily towards black. But like you said, I'm using it as a supporting actor now to other ones. But it's just a comfort zone.
Yeah,
I mean, black looks, an all black outfit looks good.
It's very slimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nice outfit. But I also don't think you should
limit yourself.
Yeah, put yourself in a chokehold when it comes to like, you know, color theory.
Yeah.
You know, because I fell into that same trap, you know, I'd say like 6-7 years ago, where all I had was black, and I thought black on black looked cool.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary to wear a brighter color. Like, it's scared to wear.
Well, you stand out.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, but now, you know, I love pops of color, and I love kind of like, I was also like, honestly, I was very nervous about wearing a tank top on stream.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't until this, I would say maybe about a month ago. That would be the first time I ever wore a tank top on stream.
Why so?
Just self-conscious, I guess.
See, because I like at you, for one thing, you have absolutely stunning tattoos.
Thank you.
You work out and you have a really good physique. So to me, on the outside looking in, I'm like, there is just absolutely nothing that you should be self-conscious about. But it's really weird how you're like, no, I was self-conscious.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing though. We were, you know, like, I don't think you're ever, you know, like, it's weird because like, I would always tell myself like, oh, well, once I get more fit, or once I get more tattoos, then I'll be able to, I'll have like the confidence of wearing a tank top. And it's that constantly like waiting until you're at a certain stage of life to find validation or happiness I think is a very dangerous mindset to be in.
Well, also too, it's that inner voice telling you that you're not good enough yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Like, oh, well, you know, once you're there, then you can be happy.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, I'll wear a tank top and, you know, I feel just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
You know, because I get compliments on my tattoos all the time, and it makes me, I mean, obviously it makes me want more tattoos, but, you know, I get a lot of compliments on it, and, you know, I think, like you say, I do work out a lot, and so I feel good, but I never thought I'd feel good enough to wear a tank top.
Well, I think that's really cool that you can see that growth in your, you know, in your style.
Yeah.
You know, because I did a little TikTok the other day where I was like, it was my Monday outfit, I think it was. And I was trying to style a top. And I had one of my viewers, one of my people who follow me on TikTok, who has been following me now for, gosh, I think I'm going on 4 years now. But anywho, she said that she asked me, she's like, hey, I've been following you from the very beginning and I notice your energy is off. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And my response back to her was, yeah, I'm fine. And then I actually took a closer look at that video and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, well, you can tell when you force it.
Yeah.
And anybody who watches you long enough, especially for 4 years, knows when you're phoning it in.
Yeah. But what was really cool is I tried on 3 different outfits. One of them, it all centered around a top.
Yeah.
And the only time I actually had a glimmer of good energy was when I was wearing my overalls.
Yeah.
So my takeaway of this is that style and fashion and what you wear isn't so much about the articles of clothing you're wearing, but how you feel when you wear them.
Sure.
You know, like your tank tops.
Yeah.
It's like your body could have been exactly the same, but you wouldn't have been comfortable wearing them. So you wouldn't have had that same sort of energy.
Yeah. Well, like you said, though, like lately I've been working out a lot. And so I have been noticing a difference. And I think because I'm putting the time in.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously my tattoos tattoos make me feel very confident.
Yeah.
I think I just needed that not reinsurance, but I just needed that push.
Yeah. And also too, it's your own personal growth. I mean, you have made a huge strides in your own confidence in the last, 6 months or so.
Yeah. I would say about the last 6 months.
Yeah. And it's really nice to see, from the outside perspective, it's really nice to see that as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So getting back to our birthdays.
Sure.
So you're going to be 33.
33.
Which when you said that, I'm like, ooh, yeah, he is going to be 33.
Well, it's wild, like, I don't know. It feels, like I said, like it feels weird, but it also doesn't. Like I don't feel 33, but I acknowledge that I am 33.
Yeah. And I'm going to be 59.
Yep.
So, and mine's on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have like any celebration plans? I mean, what you got going on?
Yeah. So Tuesday, I'm going to go down to the barber shop and just get a haircut.
Cool.
I want to get lined up and just want to, I like short hair.
Yeah.
Right. I like when my hair is nice and I got a clean fade and it just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go Tuesday after stream, get lined up, get a haircut. And then Wednesday, I'm going to stream. And because I really honestly don't care about my birthday. Not so much in the sense of like celebrating it. Like I don't care about that, but I do like using it as an excuse to bring friends and family together kind of thing. So I'll be streaming, and just kind of, they have things like streamers will do things like subathons and charity streams, but like the subathons can go for like 12 hours. And I just don't want to. I just don't want to do a 12-hour stream. I get tired after 5. Yeah. Because I exert so much energy after 5 hours, and I don't want to like drag it on. So I'll probably go a little longer than normal. I'll probably go until about 1. Mm-hmm. And then I'm not too sure what I want to do after. I was thinking about going surfing.
I was going to say, because we mentioned I have to go down to Carlsbad anyway. If you want to do it on that date, it's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I don't want to. I don't want to like force it, and we'll see how I feel during the day, but I just want to really relax and be with people. And I don't know, I've always been reluctant to like accept gifts and things on my birthday. And I know one of my mods says she has something for me, which I'm not overtly like super excited about. And I think I even might I was thinking about this morning that I might take away my donation button because I don't want any money.
But the whole thing is that okay, and I totally get that because the same thing happened to me on YouTube Live. Because I mentioned it was my birthday, and then people were like, "Well, where can we send you stuff?" And I had a really hard time telling them that my address was in my link tree. But here's the thing, Robert, is I get how you're uncomfortable, but you're taking away their joy. I mean, that's just the whole thing. It's like, I know I myself, I love giving gifts. Sure. It makes me feel good about me. Yeah. And you're taking that away from them. And I get how it's uncomfortable, but you have to also look at it both ways.
Sure. Because I know if I was in their spot, I would want to give them something.
Exactly. And, and if you chose to take away that button, it's not like it's good, bad. It's not like it's a bad thing. But I just think, again, that you should think about they want to do this for you. Yeah. And I think it's a part of your growth by allowing people to do kind things to you. Sure.
I don't know. Maybe it comes down to just a monetary thing. Like I don't want people to feel obligated.
They're not. I mean, there's a difference. If you're like, hey, it's my birthday, make sure you hit that gift button. If you like drove that home, that's one thing. Sure. But you just doing a live stream for your birthday, I can't see you like begging, telling them to donate. But if the button's there and they want to utilize it, they're going to do it in an organic way. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird to. I guess I don't know. It's weird because like I live for the spotlight. Like like when I stream, I love being the center of attention. But when it comes to like a birthday and receiving maybe gifts, I get really like.
Well, I think again that might root all the way back to your childhood, and and unfortunately there were a lot of instances in both of our childhoods where like big days turned out to be really traumatic days. Yeah. And sometimes I think that kind of scarring still stays with us.
That's understandable. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird to think too that, I don't know, just like self-reflection, like looking back on, and I use the channel a lot just as a reference and a point of, because I was telling Brandon, I mean, that's literally it's consumed my life and good, bad, or indifferent, but I wake up and that's my number one priority. It's the only thing I think about. And in a lot of ways that's really, really good. And so I use that a lot of the times as a reference. And there are people who watch me every day, all day. And, there's this one, the same girl who lives in New York. I mean, she's first in their stream every morning.
Yeah.
She's there all 5 hours every day,
Well, it's almost to the point, and I hate to interrupt you, but it's almost to the point where your stream is more. It's not about you anymore. It's almost about
it's its own living life
exactly.
organism. Yeah, absolutely. And I just had somebody message me asking me why I wasn't streaming right now. Well, I don't stream on the weekends. They're like, well, that sucks. I have to wait until Monday. And so now thinking back on organic or thinking back on your point of view with the donation, like it's bigger than me at this point. And it's interesting to see how it kind of metamorphosed.
And it goes back to what I mentioned last weekend about like the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's you telling yourself almost like, you need to, I just totally lost my thought. But it all comes down to self-growth.
Yeah.
And you know what? And
I think you're accurate though with the imposter syndrome, because you're almost like, oh, well, I don't deserve this.
You're not worthy of this
I'm not
success.
worthy of this praise, or I'm not worthy of the gifts or the words of affirmation and things like that. No, I think you're onto something. I didn't want you to lose that train of thought.
Yeah. And also too, and then that goes back to like confidence and acknowledging your own hard work and your own success, because nobody came knocking at the front door and handed it to you.
Yeah.
This is your universe, and you have built it from the ground up with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. A lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah.
And a lot of, just hard work. And I actually had somebody message me and he was like, hey, when did you start, did you ever average X amount, and when did it start blowing up? And I was like, it's not more of a win thing. It's more of like, maybe it would be a win thing, but I guess we were talking about it on stream, but it wasn't so much of like I'm just going to keep streaming and eventually things will happen. It's like, okay, well, I need to go out and work. And and I think the question would be more of like, when did you decide that you needed to do more? And it's really interesting to see how like what you get out, what you put in, kind of thing.
Yeah. And also too, what I was just thinking, it's like, I know myself, it's like I have built all of these platforms.
Yeah.
I have all of these systems in place, and now I am like having a mental battle of, I have to push past all the self-doubt.
Yeah.
And to me, it almost correlates to my sobriety.
Sure.
I put that mind frame of, I'm going to do this and nothing is going to stop me with my sobriety. And sometimes I really need to reflect back on that sort of like mind frame. And I have to get past my low numbers, and I have to get past this, like, wow, this is a really great idea. And then be like crickets. Yeah.
Well, we had mentioned, we had gone for a walk earlier today, and I had mentioned that I was watching, I don't want to
misquote?
No, not misquote. I don't want to give the credit to the wrong person.
Oh, okay.
But there's let me see if I can't find it. Oopsie. There is a YouTube. He does a lot of podcasts. He's also on YouTube. He does a lot of really interesting things. His name is, he's a neuroscientist, and his name, I want to say, is Dan Huberman, but give me 1 second.
No worries. And I had to turn the fan on because I had a little bit of a hot flash.
Yeah.
And I'm I feel like a sweaty sloth right now.
That's really gross. Yeah, his name is Dan Huberman.
Okay.
He's a neuroscientist, and he actually has a podcast named The Huberman Lab.
Okay.
And I highly, highly encourage checking him out. But he was talking about finding that mindset or finding that drive. And it's really, we were talking about it, because you were saying that you were having a mental battle with your low numbers.
Yeah.
I have plateaued on my TikTok. My other platforms are still growing, but you're not seeing those like viral sensations. It really does give a toll on you.
Yeah.
Because I was finding myself in this rut where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna put in the work now. I'm not gonna like it, but this video will go viral, and then it'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't go viral, and then you're in the double negative because you put in all this work for no reward.
Yeah, or minimal.
Yeah,
minimal.
Yeah, for minimal reward. There's just not the risk versus like gain just wasn't there, and I had found one of his clips, Dan Huberman's, on YouTube, and he was talking about that you just need to change your mental mindset in regards to finding happiness. And he would mention that you need to rewire in how you perceive tasks and challenges, whereas the reward isn't at the end in this viral video sensation. The reward should be the way, I don't want to misquote him, but he was, to summarize it, he was basically like, you should enjoy the process and the reward is secondary.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy what you're doing, then everything else is more of a consolation prize. Yeah. And cause I really do enjoy creating. I really do enjoy editing. And at one point I think I miscalculated where the value is, instead of being like, okay, well, the value is this viral video, the value is, getting this overwhelming success and this popularity. Whereas I think the real reward is, hey, I really enjoy what I do. And I really think that I have a good product, which is, the inclusivity, the positivity, things like that. And I want to share that with whoever watches the video.
Right.
And so if one person or 100,000 people watch it, as long as I'm putting positivity out there, and as long as I'm putting my best representation of myself, then that's the reward.
Right.
And whoever watches it. That's not neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And then it actually really did resonate, because yesterday I was editing and I just had music on and I was vibing, and it was just a much pleasurable experience versus me feeling burnt out, to me tired, me feeling like I have to edit these TikToks to go to posts that don't do well, and it almost felt like a mundane chore. Whereas if you kind of put your priorities in a different row or in a different mindset, then you enjoy the process more, which again, your reward is just a lot higher.
Yeah. Which goes right back to that one video I did where, and looking back at that video, I never should have posted it.
Yeah.
The simple fact is like, I was looking at that video before that TikTok before I even posted it. And I'm like, I look tired.
Yeah.
I look old. I look sad, and I'm like, no, I just need to get content out. I need to post this. And I posted it not with the best intention. It turned into a job.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things, and because sometimes, Robert, I really look at people's like content and I'm like, wow, this is great content. This is amazing. They must have millions of followers. And I'll look and they'll have like 30, 60, 1,000 followers. Yeah. And I'm like, again, my imposter syndrome comes in where I'm like, why me?
Yeah.
Why do I have 1 million when they have 30,000? And so I think I really struggle with that, but I really think that my gift is in my energy.
Sure.
And when I take that away, I lose who I am.
Yeah, your individuality.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning with the mindset of like, again, like you said, I need to enjoy that journey. Yeah. If I sit there and I'm only looking at the finish line, I'm never going to get there. Yeah. Because I am going
that finish line's always constantly moving.
Always constantly
It's called, they refer to it as destinational happiness. Whereas if you get to this checkpoint, then that's when you find your happiness. That's when you find your success. That's when all your problems go away. And that's not the case, because as soon as you get close to that check line or that finish line gets farther. And the book I'm reading right now is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
Yeah, it's a really good book, and he does a very good job explaining things. And he was saying, and I guess actually to touching back on what Dan Huberman said, is it's not the destination where you find happiness, but it's overcoming challenges, and the challenges themselves are always going to be present, and they should be rewarding. Yeah. They're always going to be challenges, whether you're at 1 follower or 100 million followers. You're always going to have some adversity and challenges, but you have to find enjoyment in tackling these challenges or overcoming these challenges. And if these challenges and this work is enjoying or enjoyable, then that's where you find your happiness. It's not like, oh, well, I'm going to put in the hard work now, and then when I'm at 100 million followers, then I get to be happy. Right. It should be, oh, I'm going to be happy growing to 100 million followers, and that's where I'm going to find my value in life. Yeah. And it's really interesting to see how many people put it in the wrong category. Right. Whereas they're like, a lot, especially with streaming, a lot of people feel it's such a mental battle with streaming, because they're like, oh man, if only I had 1,000 followers, or if only I had 1,000 viewers, if only this or that was here, then I'll be happy. And that's not the case. And, if somebody was to just grant somebody 10,000 viewers, they're not going to be any happier than they would be with one, because they don't, it's that that goal just
Yeah,
isn't
because
obtainable.
there's a thing out there, and I want to touch on one other point also, but I heard this thing one time. It's like your level of happiness where you are at this moment is where you are. So let's just say like there's three like major things that can happen in life, like death, marriage, and birth.
Sure.
Okay. So it's like you can be super, super sad because somebody dies, but eventually you're going to come back up to your level of happiness.
Yeah.
You know, you can win the lottery and you're super high up here, but no matter how much money you have, you're always going to come back down to this level of happiness. Sure. And sometimes like, you know, having like that, well, I'm going to be happy when I get there. Even when you get there, eventually you're going to come down to your core level of happiness.
You're going to like average out.
Yeah. So you need to figure out where your core level of happiness is and work on that instead of all the outside things that are going to make you peak and valley. But one thing I do want to mention is that for me, mentioning like those viral videos and everything like that, I have a gambling addiction.
Sure.
You know, which has been my hardest addiction to deal with. Yeah. And I find sometimes like I get the same sort of reward when I do well with a video.
It's this exact same dopamine effect.
Exactly.
Because that's exactly it's the exact same thing. Whether you put $1 in a slot machine, you pull the slot, or you post a video and you just see where it goes. It's the exact same process.
Which, by the way, when you said put $1 in a machine and pull it, my throat closed up. That's how intense it is. So I'm thinking for me personally, if I concentrate more on the journey instead of the jackpot, I will find a little bit more happiness and longevity than if I'm constantly like pulling the handle.
Sure. Your priorities are in different spots.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're enjoying what you're doing and if you find wealth and fame and success, then that's just a byproduct of what you generally enjoy.
Yeah.
You know.
So for me also too, looking back again at last week, I have to make sure that I don't fall back into that imposter syndrome too, because I don't want it to be where, you know, where I've all of a sudden I'm not looking for big numbers because I don't deserve it. Yeah. You know, there's just so many different factors in my brain that I have to factor in.
I think also too, if you put your priorities in the journey instead of the destination, then you won't feel that imposter syndrome because you won't feel like you didn't deserve it or you haven't earned it. You're like, because all your value is on creating and growing and just prospering versus like, oh, well, I mean, I'm here now, so I guess I'll fill the role. Versus like, no, I earned this because this is how much work I put in, and I've had a lot of fun, putting in the work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you know what? And then I was kind of looking back at like everything that has been going on in my life. And I've mentioned this before and everything, but I've been struggling with my weight.
Sure.
And that has really played a lot on me mentally. But again, and I say it every time, I'm the one who's putting the food in my mouth. Yeah. So I think that this is all connected together because I'm really motivated right now to watch what I eat, to drink a lot of water, and to have a healthy lifestyle. So for me personally, I think it's like just changing a little bit on how I view the world, how I view my creativity, telling myself every single day that, you know what, I deserve to feel good in my clothes. Yeah. That is going to, personally, I think it's going to help me achieve my long-term goal.
Totally. Yeah. What I just got it yesterday, but I already absolutely love it. Is I got myself a little like egg timer.
I was wondering what that was for.
Yeah, I got myself a timer where, I'll give myself certain time limits to, not so much time limits, but I would give myself blocks of dedication of things. So like, for example, when I work out, I put the egg timer I jump rope for 20 minutes. So I'll jump rope for 20 minutes and then I'll put timer for 10 and then I'll do yoga poses for 10. And then, like when I'm editing, I'll give myself 45 minutes to edit. And then after 45 minutes, I can, get up, stretch my legs, I can do something. Or if they're like, okay, well, I've worked really, really hard. I'm going to give myself a reward. So I'll reward, I'll be like, okay, I'll watch one anime episode. I know anime episode's 24 minutes. I put it for 24 minutes and it helps me turn my brain on and off versus like, I think what it does is helps me stop being makes me feel so overwhelmed.
I like that.
Because it kind of categorizes everything. We're like, okay, from this block, I focus on this. And then on that block, I focus on that versus like more of a big picture thing, like, oh my God, I have to do this and this and this and this and this. I don't have enough time for this. I don't have enough time for that. Whereas if I put it in sections of 45 and an hour increments, things are a little bit more tangible.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, well, I know if I really focus, I can get a TikTok done in 30, 40 minutes. So I'll give myself 45 and I'll be able to get a TikTok done. And then after my 45 minutes, then I can do this and I'll give myself an hour for that. And it kind of makes things a little bit more it kind of baby steps things a little bit more. And it's been a lot more easier to start and to finish.
Cool.
Yeah.
See, because what I've done lately is since last week, I fall into this really bad habit of pigeonholing my platforms where I'm like, I'm going to give all of my energy to TikTok.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, that's not going to work. So I'm going to give all my energy to YouTube. That isn't going to work. So now I'm going to be all my energy to Instagram. And where I have made my shift, and I really like it, is I feel like I am creating equally across all of my platforms, because I need to remember that all of my platforms equal my one platform.
It's the sum of everything.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
And what I was doing is I was chasing that high. I was chasing that jackpot, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go, I wasn't looking at the big picture. I was just kind of
you tunnel visioning
everything.
I would agree.
Yeah. So for my birthday, it's on a Saturday.
Yes.
So we'll probably do the podcast, which is great. And then I'm going to go live on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time with each platform for my birthday.
Yeah, I like that.
And just hang out with them and just, be like, hey, it's just because it just like you, it is, it doesn't consume my life, but it is a major portion of my life, and I was thinking the other day, and I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
This is my level of happiness. And I did an interview and somebody's like, well, how much do you make? And I'm like,
not a lot.
Not a whole lot. It's like, maybe enough to buy groceries.
Yeah. It's just enough
but that's
to
not,
live.
but that's not where the emphasis lies.
That's not where your value is. Yeah.
You know what? To me, it's like I am sacrificing now for the end goal. And so that's just what it is.
Well, also too, I think if you were doing it for the money, you'd be doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I would be on a different platform.
Yeah.
We all know which one I'm talking about. The sexy one.
Why would you be on that platform?
Because you can make more. You can make money.
Okay, pivot.
No, I'm just saying, if I was in for the money, I would be like compromising my integrity. That's all. Not that people do that. I mean, each to their own. If you're on that platform and that's what you want to do, you know what? I say go for it. It's just not my forte.
Okay.
Because I don't ever want anybody to feel bad for what they do. It's just not my cup of tea.
Okay.
So that's just what I was saying. I could instantly feel you tense up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing. And then maybe what we can do is, I don't know, maybe I'll grab a pizza or something and, just something fun like that.
I like it.
I always, in the past years, I've always done something dramatic, like big, like I pierced my nose last year, or I've gotten a tattoo. And you know what? I think I'm okay just kind of sliding into 59, just being gracefully and being really content with myself.
I like that.
It's been a hell of a journey. So, so happy birthday,
Happy
Robert.
birthday,
happy
Mom.
early birthday.
Thank you. 33 is going to be a good year.
I got to tell you, it's having you and Brandon I'm going to cry, but having you and Brandon has been the highlight of my really hard life.
Yeah.
It's been out of my life. There's very few real bright spots, and you and Brandon are really it.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for being born.
I thank you for
thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Well, yeah, no, I really do appreciate you.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's like sometimes I just need to stop and just be like, no, without them, I don't know where I would be.
Yeah. it's crazy to think, like how much we've kind of affected each other's life, and the good and bad, but at no point in life have I never not had you in my corner.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of times when I just I'm like, oh fuck, I'm so lost, and you're like, it's okay if you're lost, I'm here for you. And having that unconditional support has been huge in regards to my growth and my confidence, and who I wouldn't be the same person if I didn't have you constantly supporting me. Because there's a lot of like like dad was like, oh, well, this got hard. I'll cut you later.
Yeah.
Whereas like you never had that option. You're like, okay, well, this is hard, but I'm going to be here for you regardless of how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
And having that constant support has been monumental.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate it. And I say this all the time. It's like, the only gift I can give you and Brandon is just the gift of unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what I have for you.
Yeah, and we have it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, that took like a really nice emotional twist.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Robert.
There you go. way to land that.
Yeah. Way to make that awkward.
Yeah, way to make that one. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys, if you want to check out Robert's platform, it's Sherbert, SUREBERT _
Yeah.
And I am gray hair and tattoos across the board. We really appreciate you hanging out with us on Saturday mornings and just talking about life.
Yeah.
All right. All right, everyone. Stay cool, be safe, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.